Welcome everyone to the MDM Show. I am your co-host, Donna, and of course, we've got the founder with us, Peter Schen. He is the founder of Aquaware. Welcome everyone. And also of all the programs. So I'm going to bring Peter on to talk about himself, of course, and say hi. Peter, how are you? How are you doing?
Donna, doing great. Thank you. Thank you. We have an exciting show lined up tonight. An extraordinary guest, absolutely amazing. But before we get in there, I just kind of wanted to talk to the audience and obviously thank everyone for making the show a success that it was in 2015, and of course where we're going in 2016. And you know, I want everyone to know that the show was created for you, to help all of you reach your ultimate potential. Obviously, we create the tools to help you get there, and we have new listeners tonight, and we've had valued listeners that continue to come back every week because we always showcase one of the product lines, whether it's a workshop or the software line, and we kind of do some activations with the guest, and we got some really cool stuff lined up for you tonight. So for the new listeners tonight, just in brief, 2 minutes about me. I had a wake-up experience about 12 years ago. My whole life was invested in information technology, working for 20 years for one of the world's largest banks. I left that career to really pursue my passion, which is helping people in a way that I can. After my wake-up experience, I was endowed with particular gifts that allowed me to see the quantum matrix for what it really is and bring an extraordinary line of software to the world that allows you to program intent into water across 6 different products. Tonight we're going to be showcasing the Source 4. We're going to be doing an activation a little bit about that. The Source 4 is a manifestation program. It utilizes the 9 symbols of creation to create a reality that you desire. Tonight we're going to be utilizing that technology and showcasing it again. We also have 25% off that product for the next 24 hours. The coupon code in the store on the MDM website is 25OFFSHOW, 25 off show. Okay, I really want people to take a look at the feedback on the website that's been coming in utilizing the products into 2015. They're absolutely the things people are experiencing with the product lineup is mind-boggling. And what you also have to understand too is the software or any of the products that I create, when they are created, they grow as I do, and I've experienced an amazing growth over the last 4 months. And if you've been a customer of mine for a while, you'll notice that there's been a huge quantum shift in the product line, even if you bought an older version of the software. So with that said, we're going to jump right into it. Donna, please tell us about our new guest tonight.
Gladly. So, our guest tonight, of course, is Gary Thunder Pratt. And Gary is going to bring, I should say heat, but thunder tonight. And he is Chief Scientist from Grayland Industries. He is going to explain some quantum mechanics designs to target a spectrum of issues facing us today, from healing of diseases to stopping smog worldwide. He is going to leave you with lots of questions and some answers. So let's bring Gary on to explain his product. Hi, Gary.
Hello, Donna. Hello, Peter. Thank you.
Gary, how are you?
Oh, charged up as always. Excited to be in here.
Awesome. I just want to take a minute. If you could go on, please. I just want to take a minute and explain to the audience an experience that I had with you a few hours ago, and then I'm going to leave them a little bit mystified. So then, of course, you can go in and describe in detail what we did. Thunder called me about 3:30. Actually, I called him about 3:30 this afternoon Eastern time, and he said we're going to do a little experiment. And he sends me a picture. He texted me a picture to my cell phone. He's like, "Go ahead and pull your vehicle out of the garage." And I did, and he says, "What's the RPMs at?" I said, "Well, they're about 600." He goes, "I want you to smell the exhaust." And I did. So I opened the door up and I went down and smelled, what a car smells like when it's running. Pretty nasty. So he's like, "Take your cell phone with the picture and put it on the side that the gas tank is on in the back." And I did. And in a way that I can observe, which makes me, very effective at creating products, I can see the energy signatures and everything that's happening. And within 2 minutes, the process took, a yellow net kind of came down around the car and started working on the gas in the car. And I'll obviously allow him to explain what happened. And then I revved the car up for another minute to about 2,500 RPMs to have the gas that has been changed using this technology to kind of filter in through the engine and then out through the exhaust. He's like, and at that point, I mentioned specifically that the interior of the car kind of smelled almost like an ionic breeze from the sharper image, which was which was pretty cool. So I then opened the door and I went back to the exhaust and I smelt it, and there was no smell to the exhaust. So Thunder, can you please tell us what you do, who you are, and how that was possible?
Turned your car into a air purifier, Peter. Isn't that awesome? I also I waited for Donna after we were done with yours. I did the same with Donna's car, and we've done this with 53,000 cars in 38 countries. The results are always the same. There is no smell coming from the exhaust of the engine. Yeah, it's a little, pardon the pun, breathtaking when you first see it, because you're taking a deep breath out of a combustion engine, and that's just not right. We do this with semis, and they smell the same as your car did today. I mean, that really takes people, sets them back a little bit, because it's something they can't fathom at first to be possible, and we've spent a lot of years in research and development, and yeah, that's our flagship product right now. It comes with a world record that was tested in a EPA lab facility to be validated as something that will reduce pollution to a 0 point in a matter of weeks. If it doesn't do it in 5 minutes, you got to dirty your engine. But yeah, usually within an oil change or two, and within 1,000 miles, it is completely toxic free.
So Thunder, can you explain exactly what I experienced, how you got into this particular field, and where you're going? Because I've experienced a lot of beautiful and bizarre things. I've created a lot of beautiful and bizarre things. But this was definitely one of the top 3 changes that I have seen work absolutely that fast. So please tell us about it.
Well, yeah, it's delivering energy via text message, which is, there are 7.2 billion cell phones in the world today, making it the largest product ever sold and developed by man. So what we did is we thought, well, what a perfect platform to send our technology, which is a vibration frequency multi-dimensional vortex field. That's kind of a mouthful. That we use your phone as the target in this case, your cell number as our quantum entanglement code, and once that cell image arrives to your phone, we activate that to extinguish 78 toxins that I have identified in unleaded fuel, 84 toxins that I've identified in diesel, and additional additives that exceed over 300 microclusters of highly cancerous carcinogens. And we've we've eliminated them via text message. So if you like that today, if you imagine what we can do to the human body if we just took all the pollution out of a combustion engine.
How is that possible via text message? What is the technology behind that? Where did you come up with these ideas? How long have you been doing it? Inquiring minds want to know.
Let's see. I did my very first one was in 2002, and that was with nicotine. I was trying to develop a safe alternative other than a chemical discharge to the patch, and well, I came up with one, but it frankly wasn't safe. It almost killed me. You cannot put toxins in these frequencies, otherwise they'd kill me in the lab. So that's what really spawned the idea. Well, there's a need for antitoxin. And as I was driving down the road, looking at all the pollution in the sky, it dawned on me, well, what are we going to do? Fly kites with? Nah, that's not going to work. And then a big semi-trailer passed me with fuel tank, a fuel tanker. And I thought, hey, every gas tank on every car, and we could neutralize pollution. So that took about 8 weeks to design. And once I formulated that plan, the next problem was finding a substrate that would work. A substrate is what would hold the frequency and give it a cascading effect so that it would continue to work. There are 150 layers of frequencies that we lay on each hologram, and then when we convert that from text imaging, it's like moving a 2D picture to a 3D picture. Or if you're familiar with like the way we build video games, it's done in a fourth dimensional view. So I want you to think more on the terms of what a frequency sounds like compared to looks like. And when we send the text, then it's just the opposite. It's what it would sound like versus look like. So we play with dimensions that way to alter and program matter to change its properties.
Is there an activation you can do tonight for our listening audience?
Let's do this, and we're doing it now. It's part of our new program that me and Linda have created here at Grayland Industries. We've taken 12, 15 years of research and development and said, now let's go out and take this to the corporate sector. The crazy lights that you see flying all around me right now we're not at a disco or anything like that. What you're seeing is intrinsic information that is being overlaid over top of a laser signal and then targeted toward a two-dimensional flat screen. So literally, we are broadcasting frequencies directly on the fly on our own network.
What is the intent or the purpose behind what we're doing, what you're doing right now with the overlay?
Tonight, what the main frequency is, and it's a personal favorite of mine. It's something that everyone needs in their life, and it's monatomic gold. It's Ormus, and that's M-state matter, which allows us as a quantum entanglement process in the text message to carry that M-state matter will carry that energy as a superconductor without, like in CERN, where it has to be, 80 below zero. M-state operates in room temperature.
So I happen to know quite a bit about M-state materials, Ormus, and I personally know some of the best manufacturers on the planet that have their own school of mastery in bringing these particular M state elements of the planet, and you know how they work on the consciousness grid. And it's interesting because the frequency that you're projecting through this two-dimensional overlay is very conducive to the gold, you know, the white powder of gold, if you will. But a lot of times there's a purpose behind projecting it. There's an intent behind it. So tonight, the listening audience that's watching it is really kind of bringing that M state into their own, you know, and it also has the ability to make you very elusive and kind of airy fairy, if you will, a little bit, you know, just on that cutting edge of trying to concentrate, but yet you feel something going on, and that is very, very cool. But again, my question was, what is the specific purpose of using an M-state product in a two-dimensional overlay to project that frequency into the show audience, you know, for the listeners tonight?
Well, I'm glad that you're familiar with M-state, and you're right. I have met a lot of the top producers of Ormus that have their frequencies out there. And I've tested every type of Ormus on every continent of the planet. I've done heavy research for over since '98 is when I first got introduced to Ormus. What I found was that a lot of it has trace elements of M-state mercury in their Ormus. So that was what I really originally started working on, was neutralizing and cleaning up the Ormus. And also, a lot of people I saw, they would make the Ormus around cell phone towers, or, you know, in a Wi-Fi or a cell phone region, which is almost everywhere in America now. And what you really need to do for the Ormus pros that are out there, take my solid advice, do this underground. Make your Ormus where like I do mine in LAX Hilton, because it's the only 6-story deep parking structure in Los Angeles. So we go all the way 6 stories down, and you never want to make your Ormus either during a full moon cycle, because of the lunar gravitational pull will forbid the M state for the monatomic gold to pass, and it doesn't cluster properly. So looking at the reasons of why I chose Ormus, and the intention is to give people the understanding and clarity that this newfound technology is of a lot of our sacred and textbooks of Bibles and stuff. And it's manna in the Bible, you know. So if we can get back to our conscious state, and I consider Ormus the gateway of conscious. That's why I love my favorite program here tonight.
So I have a burning question for you. Have you, or can you, apply this technology to chemtrails?
Well, let's identify first what exactly a chemtrail is. You know, Peter, I imagine you're my age. We've been looking in the sky since we were kids, wanting to fly, and we'd always look up and we'd see these, you know, long exhaust trails. Well, that is true. Those are condensation trails, and they occur at an altitude of around 25,000 feet when the temperature, the cool air, passes through a Pratt Whitney engine. We gotta love those. And what you see is a steam byproduct. Well, a chemtrail occurs at 15,000 feet. That's a place where a condensation trail does not even exist. And they don't last for 30 seconds. They last for 3 to 4 hours. So we've identified chemtrails by photographing them, running them through a spectrometer, and then biophoton analyzing them to determine its elemental makeup. Once we've identified the makeup inside the chemtrail, it was then our reversing those frequency patterns to render them inert. However, look how far away they are. They're 15,000 feet. So there's two ways that we attack chemtrails. First off, you can pull the text up on your phone, and then any simple little pointer laser will transduce that energy, and then you just start cleaning the sky, like, you know, running your pointer along that trail behind the aircraft. The second is that we've experimented with a lot of orgone and putting our frequencies inside the orgone, our holograms inside the orgone to amplify that field. So yeah, it's a serious problem. I give kudos to a gentleman named Mike Murphy. He's done some great documentary work on. Gentlemen, you may want to have on your show someday. But you know, there needs to be a large awareness to the chemtrails.
Absolutely. So if it's okay with you, I would like to go into an activation for the listening audience tonight utilizing the Source 4 technology. Just a little break in the conversation. So for all the new listeners tonight and all the old listeners, I always love to demonstrate the technology that I've created over the years, and tonight we're going to be doing a quick activation utilizing the Source 4 technology, which is a manifestation program. It allows you to consciously direct your manifestation into water. Now, the difference in traditional manifestation is, through the research I've done, is you have something in your head you want to manifest, you release it to the universe comes by, it grabs it, brings it upstream, and the time by which you release it and it's being created is what we call the path. Now, traditionally, any time during those two periods of time when you release it and it's being created and it comes into fruition, if you have doubt or worry, the thought form gets destroyed and you have to start over again. The Source 4 takes all of the work out of what you're doing. It allows you to consciously direct your manifestation into water via light frequencies. You drink the water, the manifestation comes out on what we call light paths, and the universe comes by, grabs your manifestation, and the time by which you drink the water and it's released and it comes into fruition, that path is protected by what we call light paths. We're going to do a live demonstration of it right now. So I need everyone to go ahead and get a glass of water, please. I'm going to share out the screen here. And we're going to see this all in real time. Okay, again, this is the Source 4 technology. This is 4th generation technology. Okay. What we're looking at here are what we call the 9 symbols of creation. In my reality, these symbols create all of reality. And the software is completely interactive, but for the constraints of time, typically you would move these around intuitively until you find a geometric shape or what we call an array that works for you, and then we would lock it in, save it. But for demonstration purposes, I have 10 presets in here, and tonight we're going to go ahead and use preset number 6. Okay. Again, these presets, except for number 7, have absolutely no meaning to them, but they all work, because when my team and the MDM team and myself was creating this, these were all tested and they all work absolutely perfectly. So the idea behind this is to simply, where your attention goes, the manifestation will go. Okay, and you just consciously direct that into your water. There's no work involved. The only thing that is involved is the manifestation. Now, typically, I'll have people come up with their own, but for tonight, I want to do this with abundance. So I want everyone to very quickly think about what abundance means to you. Okay, the manifestations can come on within a few minutes to 72 hours. They do come into fruition extremely quickly. It's like everyone to just go ahead quickly and just put a little bit of taste of the water on their palate, just wet your palate so you know what the water tastes like, because you're going to be amazed here in a minute how different it tastes. Okay, so understand what abundance means to you. Okay, and I'm going to count backwards. I'm going to go 3, 2, 1. I'm going to click enter the Source 4, and when we enter the source for it, just put your attention on the water. That's all that's required. But notice what happens too as we're running through the software here, and I'll explain the different parts of it. It'll take about 45 seconds to complete, and then we're going to go ahead and drink it. So here we go again. Where your attention goes, the manifestation goes. Just direct it into the water. This is all about abundance and what abundance means to you. 3, 2, 1. Consciously direct it into the water. The water is now being water prepped, meaning we're removing the memories from the water. It's now being user prepped. We're creating a thin veil in the water, and when you drink it, it goes right to the subconscious mind. It opens it up for acceptance. We are now pre-nucleating the water. We are getting it ready for the manifestation. 8.1 seconds. Now we're setting the light paths. This is what's going to carry the manifestation out of the body. Okay, now we are nucleating 18.1 seconds with your manifestation, which is abundance. Okay? Now again, watch the water. Sometimes it starts to bubble. Sometimes it crawls out of the glass. Sometimes it just starts to vibrate. Sometimes it soaks through the glass. Amazing things happen. Okay, we're done. I want everyone to go ahead and drink as much of the water as you want, and notice the taste and the texture of it. Once the water is inside the body, I want you to notice the light paths, the energetic light paths that start coming out. This is what Source or the universe is going to grab your manifestation with. And again, this is all about abundance. This particular product is 25% off for the next 24 hours. On the website, in your shopping cart, you put in the coupon code 25OFF-SHOW. It's 25OFF show, SHOW, and that will give you 25% off this particular product tonight. So again, notice the light paths coming out of your body. Okay, how we doing, guys? Thunder, that was the first time you've experienced the technology.
Yeah, no, I like that. That's good stuff.
So, continuing along our question line. So, obviously, anything we do really hasn't been researched by the FDA, so we have to be careful in terms of any types of claims that we make on the health side of it. And I don't claim to be a medical practitioner. I never have. None of my products cure anything, except people write in and post things all over the internet about the effects of what these products do for them on a health level, and that's fine. That's their opinion. But I want to ask you, can you use this technology to help your mother with, say, maybe cancer? Is it safe for kids to use? What are the medical applications of this technology? How far have you taken it, and what have you done?
Well, Peter, I'm primarily I'm an environmentalist at heart. I mean, I was born on Earth Day. I want to just be the world's greatest janitor, cleaning up the mess the baby boomers left us. See my name in the history book next to the word pollution. Those are kind of my short-term goals. So I've gotten into the medical research of things strictly by accident. I was sitting there, at one night. I just got done. First time I'd stopped pollution in my car. I'm sitting there, and I'd already my father. I lost him to obesity. My father died because he loved to eat, and I remember sitting there. I'm thinking, Dad, I wish, man, I probably could have done something for you. You're not even gonna believe. I don't believe this. So I spent the next 17 weeks just digesting medical journals and term understanding. I agree. I'm not here to get the FDA upset with me, but and that's why I chose text therapy, because you see, I fall under the FCC. I'm first off, I'm not a food nor a drug. I'm text energy that's under the FCC. So really, the FDA has no jurisdiction over me. Can we help your mom with her cancer? Well, or people. Um, what I've seen is what we've done. And what we've done is that we've neutralized problems with cancer. And what is cancer? Cancer, first off, does not survive very well in an alkaline environment. So we looked at that. I looked at a gentleman named out of the Southern California. I'll say that, and he's got a successful product line that's been, really treating cancer. So we took a look at what he was doing, and we used biomimicry to replicate that field of energy, and it comes from the moringa plant. So I believe in God. I think God is an awesome dude, and God really would not leave us out there alone. So he provided us with nature everything that we need, and what we need to do is look at the situations that combat cancer and then utilize it. And now, versus if you listen to the FDA and go with chemotherapy, you'll have a 4% chance of beating it. I'm sorry, if you pray or wish the cancer away, you have a 25% chance. I'll go with those rather than injecting the final days of my life with chemotherapy, just a bunch of leftover parts that the military had from Vietnam. I mean, it's not good stuff.
So here's a good question. What type of world records do you hold for these products?
I've only had 2 tests done, Peter. I've only done the EPA for pollution reduction, and now we went to the EPA lab out in California, and they've tested this stuff for 30 years. The best anybody did in diesel was 2.6%, and after 30 years of trying, that's, I guess, best anyone's done. I walked in, I put a postage stamp hologram energy seal on the bottom of a truck, and we crushed pollution 38% in the first 5 minutes. They had never seen anything like that. The second program I had tested was specific area of research, which is a SAW report for EMF and cell phone radiations. They've tested over 300 companies out there, and no one has shown better than 1%. So again, I walked up there, showed them a 40% drop in the test, which to me 40% was an F, and I sat down and then I argued the point that I picked apart their procedure and protocol for the testing. They were using a mannequin. They pour it with Jello gelatin and slam a thermometer in there. And that's how they test when they put a cell phone up to it. I said, that's not enough. You're missing the equilibrium. The brain puts out frequencies on its own to combat toxic things that are coming at it. And you guys, Jello in a mannequin doesn't cut it. Also, we cannot have 100% reduction in EMF, otherwise your cell phone does not work with the tower. So I've taken a look at the problem and then remedied a solution by creating a wallpaper image that you put on your home screen wallpaper, and then we take the signal that comes from your phone and that connects with the cell tower, and we divide that in half, putting half of that energy toward the 4th density and the other toward the 2nd density, thus allowing the phone to communicate but not having the properties of the frequency damaging the head. So yeah, those are 2 out of 63,000 algorithms I've wrote the last 12 years that we've had. The problem about having testing done is that nothing I hate more, Peter, than giving somebody a crap load of money, and I mean a lot. We've spent a lot in testing. And you give somebody $20,000 for them to give you a piece of paper that says it works. Well, yeah, we knew that going into this thing.
So you are very much a forward thinker like me. And whenever I'm cooking something up in my head and blueprinting it out, I have a big mouth. I just like to tell people about it even before it comes into fruition. So being that forward thinker, can you share with us anything that you have on the drawing board and where the current product line might be going, say in a year or two?
Well, me and Linda, we put this, we came up with this idea and our short-term goals, and it's something that we want to see this year in 2016. I mean, you want to talk about changing the behavioral patterns and uplifting mankind as a species. Let's eliminate pollution. We can stop pollution in 24 hours, Peter. We have the ability to send out 7.2 billion cell phones in a 24-hour period. Now, that's one thing to stop the pollution from coming out of the cars. But my technology doesn't stop there. It also pulls the atmospheric air in through your engine and renders those particles inert. So what we have here is a very unique scenario. We qualify for carbon allowances, which are worth about $5,000 per year per vehicle. So when you look at 10 million semis that are out there in the United States alone, and 455 million cars registered in the United States alone, we can turn those carbon credits into we can offset those carbon credits and give that back to the drivers. You can literally walk down, Peter, buy a brand new car from Ford Motor Company that gives you a 10-year powertrain warranty. I'll give you 10 years worth of carbon credits and make the payments. We could give cars away for free. I mean, what does that do to the economy? This jump starts a mecca of interest in what other things we can do. I'm here to tell you, Peter, we have an exotic box of stuff that will blow. We can't even come out with the exotic box. It's too much.
Share some of the exotic box with us. Just give us a tidbit.
I'm sorry?
Share something from
the exotic box. Well, we got some spooky stuff in there, but well, I mean, we can take your heating and cooling temperatures. We can change the temperature on a wall, on a window, on an air conditioner, on a heater. We got these laser thermometers. They're like $30 at Home Depots, and you point them at the wall, it tells you the temperature, or you point them at the vent, it'll tell you how cold or hot your heater or AC is. We place our technology next to the vents. We drop air conditioning 15 degrees from 60 to 45 degree air. We take heaters from 118, 120 to 145. So you got hotter and colder air coming out of your vents in a more insulated environment. Saves you 30% on your heating and cooling costs. Telephones that can do some amazing things here in the future. I really want to cut loose on the exotic box, but I don't want the heads of that many companies upset at me. I just want the heads of a couple of them upset at me, and that way I can put the protective Yetis around me.
So, what excites you the most? I mean, what drives you to produce this type of technology? Is it feedback that you get? Is it people you're helping? Is it changing the environment? What is it?
It's having a 5-minute agenda, Peter. I believe in 0-point planning. Living on a surfboard, you got to make that decision. Is this the wave or not? You can't just, hey, Peter, let's go surf, Tuesday at 2 o'clock. Good for you. The perfect wave is going to be rolling in about that. It doesn't work that way. So I live in creativity. I believe creativity is when you should get your diploma. I've said this in other venues I've spoken with, and I've told everybody, you got your diploma from college, big deal. Did you go out in the real world and think about what you learned in college? Yeah. Did you have your own creative thought? No. Yeah, well, hey, you went to college. Good job. If you have a creative thought that is original, there you go. Now you're in creativity, and I love staying in creativity mode.
I agree with that 100%. You know, I went to engineering school. I got my BS in computer engineering, and I spent 20 years working in Wall Street for one of the world's largest banks. And, you know, all of the creative energy that I put into and the passion I put into that professional job was amazing. But after my wake-up experience, the first time I actually created something, which was a little program called First Water that we just gave away, you know, back in 2005 for free. This program was so rudimentary that, you know, it had 10 selectable intents. And it didn't even have water prep or user prep. It was just where your attention goes, the intention will follow. And we had 60,000 downloads in 2 months, and it talking about creativity and ego edging God out. Oh, it was through the ceiling, and then I got scared, and we took it off the market, and then that's where the real work began for the creation of Aquaware version 1, which was born on July 4th, 2007. So I graduated very early after my wake-up experience with creating something that fundamentally changed people's lives in an amazing way. So what else you got in that black box? Come on, bring it.
We did light a light bulb in another country, an LED light with a text message, and that's coming down this year for sure. I mean, that's a major product that we will be releasing. And that's in the energy sector. Sending a text message to power your house, to power. I mean, where we could take this technology is scary. Scary for, I guess, if you're OPEC. We can change the properties of matter. We can implode water. We can run water as power forever. I mean, with this technology, yeah, mainly in the energy sector and the telecom sector will be my strong points this year. Early into next year and following years, got enough things to clean up on the planet. Then we'll start working on health. But you know, really, when you take away, you know, the bad air, the asthma is going to decrease, and you know, all these carcinogens in the water, the contaminations, and you know, the food that we have. If we can start fixing a couple of our problems in those areas, you know, disease corrects itself. You know, my favorite thing is, another thing is, I'm a farm kid from Iowa. I was very into agriculture as a child, and looking at plants using frequency fertilizer, charging the water has really increased yields up to 300% in 60%. I mean, these nutritious, giant, and what we're doing there is kind of unique. We're tricking, tricking is a good word. We're tricking the photosynthesis process of the plants by having the plant think that the sun is coming up every hour on the hour. So it's like doing 24 push-ups a day instead of 1. And by releasing that infrared light, your plant photosynthesis process is triggered, and we see abundant yields in our food. If you've never heard this, I want to share this with you, Peter. You might like this. For all your gardening fans that are out there, take your seed, put it in your mouth for a minute before you plant it, and what you're doing is your DNA saliva is activating that plant, kind of like like a nurturing mom, you know, and it's going to ride your DNA the whole life of that plant. So the medicine becomes the food you eat in this scenario. Whatever is damaging in your body, the plant will grow the correct nutrient medicine for your body.
That is amazing. Obviously, I have plans of my own to introduce water technology in the farming industry, but my thoughts were that as far as the pesticides go, you know, this country alone produces 26 trillion tons of chemicals a year. 26 trillion tons, and a large part of that is fertilizers for the, you know, the farming that we do. And, you know, based on research that I've done, insects have the ability to see in the color spectrum, so they lock into plants that are weaker or have the frequencies that they're looking for. If you could sprinkle these plants with water that changes the frequency that the insects see in, the insects would just bypass them. This is just kind of some of the forward thinking that I've been playing around with. I've done some work with an amazing person. Obviously, I don't want to mention him on the show, but what he does is he takes a boat and he goes 100 miles off the coast of Oregon, and he puts a hose down 1,000 feet, pumps out 10,000 gallons of seawater, and this particular seawater is rich in natural Ormus. And what he does is he measures the effectiveness of the product that he makes based on a particular it's almost like a fungi that grows at the base of all plants. And I had written a customized piece of software for him that would increase the frequency of the Ormus that he was coming out with, and then based on his scientific results, he had a 150% increase in this microbiology, whatever this fungi is in it. So that was kind of a win-win for all of us. And he's very, very gifted individual. But he would make, you know, the liquid fertilizer that I was just talking about. So a lot of good things. I just wanted to, Donna, do we have questions coming in for Thunder on the audience? From the audience, any written questions?
We do.
Can we jump into those, please?
You bet. So before we jump into the questions, I've got a comment from Chad, and when you were doing the activation, Chad said he had some coffee by him, and it changed as you directed, and I noticed a lighter taste of full energy, so from that activation. So I wanted to put that out there for you. But Kathleen, she had a question about, we kind of talked about that for the chemtrails, and I am looking for the questions. The chat is just rolling, so okay, Sherry, this is the question that I wanted to put out there to you, Thunder. Sherry asked, if I understand this somewhat, this could also be used to detox mode. Any thoughts on that, on detoxing mode?
That's a great question. Yeah. Linda had well, we live here on the ocean, and you got to pretty much power wash your decks twice a year with all of the mold that we see in around, like the wooden docks and that. So yeah, we designed a frequency for molds, and one of my, you know, he's an amazing youngster up in Maine. Shout out to him. His name is Jake. Jake had a scenario where they had some mold in behind the sheetrock from a basement that had flooded, and it brought the water up through the sheetrock and created a mold behind the wall. And it's common in a lot of homes in America. So he asked me about that. He says, "Is there anything you can do for mold?" And I said, "Yeah, you know, we have been playing with a anti-mold frequency and putting it around docks and stuff. And the report we get back, it's literally within 48 hours, you see green mold turn into a light brown dust, and then eventually just blows away." Great question.
Donna, do we have more questions from the audience?
Yeah, we do. Let's see. Okay, my apologies because the chat is just moving.
I'm gonna, while you're digging those up, I'm gonna take a minute and talk to the listening audience about the workshop we're doing tomorrow night.
You bet.
So historically, I've done 3 to 4 workshops per year based on a particular topic, and it's old school. We dial in, and I lead you through some exercises that we do to achieve results. This is the first workshop of 2016. It's called Clearing Your Energy Fields. And in this workshop, I'm going to teach you how to clear your energy fields, open you up to more conscious awareness of things that you want to manifest in your life. So in general, we all have a chi field, we have an energetic field that surrounds our bodies. I'm going to teach you how to create the new fundamental building blocks layer upon layer for even greater things to come in this particular workshop. And there's some homework that you have to do if you decide to purchase it. So I suggest that for those of you that have purchased it already, you are doing your homework. Now this workshop is really for you if you feel stuck mentally, physically, emotionally. You lack clarity in your life, you need to release negativity, need inner health or peace of mind, you need to reconnect your body, mind, and spirit, and if you're really ready to step into your higher self. And I can't push that sixth one enough. Stepping into your higher self is such an amazing feeling, because once you wake up in that dream and you are in your higher self, you can really manifest a lot of amazing things in your life. Now, I implore people to go look at the website, read the feedback based on other workshops that I've done in the past, and what you're going to see is a progression of the results. Now, this is the first workshop of 2016, and over my own personal growth, especially over the last 3 or 4 months, you are really going to be in for a mind-altering experience that will bring you to new heights. So again, you can go to the front page of the MDM, the Modern Day Mystic website, and you can purchase it. It's only available for another 18 hours until we actually start the workshop. And if you do get it, which I implore all of you to do, you really, really want to start that homework assignments that come with the purchase email as soon as possible. This is a very interactive workshop. I'm going to be teaching you secrets. I'm going to be showing you things about yourself. And as I work in the higher realms, all of this comes down to you and your own personal growth. So if you're going to make an investment in yourself, I highly suggest that you make it in this workshop. This is a one-of-a-kind workshop that will completely guaranteed blow you away and get you exactly where you need to be. So, Donna, back to you.
All righty. All right. So, GWB wants to know, Gary or Thunder, do you donate any of the proceeds from the products?
I have. Over the years, I've worked with a lot of nonprofit organizations. We've done deals where everyone we sell, we donate one to a nonprofit. Me and Linda are always looking for nonprofit organizations to donate our technologies to give it a good cause. We're not really takers, we're givers, if that makes any sense. So yeah, always constant. If there's anybody out there that has an organization, we'd love to talk to you.
Perfect. So Chad says, works on the thermodynamics in the home, also reduces noise decibels at the same time through its smart thermal insulation frequency. So I guess Chad is probably somebody who works with you or knows some information about this. And we also have Sherry, who wants to know, would you be offering a workshop also on this?
Okay, well, first one to address, yeah, it sounds like Thermal Smart, probably someone who's utilized or seen it. We've had that product out for many years. Yes, it does three things. It does, of course, reduce heating and cooling costs. Sound is a big difference, and UV light is the other one that blocks coming in, fading upholsteries and such like that. So yeah, there's three instruments that you can utilize to test and validate. There's a UV tester, sound decibel meter, and a thermal laser thermometer, infrared thermometer. So you get three baselines. Play your favorite music, or on a hot day with on sunny, and you'll see drops in every one of them just by simply applying a small. It's as little as show you right here. It's as small as a contact lens. You can see how thin it is. It's paper thin, and literally we can take one of those, dot them on a window, and within 5 minutes we'll change the room 5 to 10 degrees. The amount of power that it takes to change a room 5 to 10 degrees is a lot.
That's
so
huge.
Yeah.
Well, my question, of course, can I get that for Arizona? For the summer coming up.
Man, I spent a summer down in Arizona, and I went from restaurant to restaurant and made a fortune. We really did well. The restaurant business really enjoyed the cooling of in the hot summer months. Another thing I did out in Phoenix, we did the coyotes. We tested the zambonis in the ice arena out there. Now we're told that natural gas and propane are clean. This is not true. So we reduced the toxicity in the Zamboni, and then we saved the temperature. You're in the desert and you got an ice arena. I mean, that's a lot of work to try to keep that thing cold all the time. So yeah, had a lot of fun out in Phoenix. So yes, we'll definitely help you there.
Thunder, can you please let the listening audience know how they can get in touch with you?
Absolutely. The new found company that me and Linda Ripa have founded is Graylin.com. And that's basically Gary changing the R and the A around and dropping the A on Linda to create Graylin. Graylin.com is where you can find us. Yeah, we're Facebook, Twittered, and all that good stuff. Just launching this exciting rollout. So, thank you.
Thunder, you are an amazing person to have on the MDM show. I very much see a lot of myself in you. When we were talking earlier on the phone, and clearly tonight you brought it. Amazing technology. You're going places with it, and you're here really to help make the world a better place in the capacity that you can. So a couple announcements, folks. Again, the Source 4 activation we did is 25% off tonight on the MDM store, 25 off show. And of course, we talked about the workshop tomorrow. You can get that on the front page of the MDM site as well. Again, the workshop I can't talk enough about. And of course, Thunder, thank you very, very much for taking the time out this evening to come on the MDM show. Donna, thank you. And of course, the listening audience, thank you. Without you, none of this is possible. We work very, very hard to bring you cutting-edge quality guests and all the genre and the magic that they bring to the world to make it a better place. Again, thank you, Thunder. Thank you. Donna?
All right. Good night, everyone.
Thank you, Peter.
Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow night for the workshop. And also, of course, next week we've got another great guest lined up for you already. So check out our website, moderndaymistic.com. Check out the workshop. We'll see you again. Good night, everyone.